Ever get this nagging feeling like, what if everything I thought I knew about the justice system, it was wrong?
Mm-hmm.
Today, we're diving into a story that'll make you question everything. A story where 22 years were stolen.
Wow.
That's what happened to Calvin Buari.
Right.
Wrongly convicted for a double homicide, and he didn't do it.
Yeah.
We're talking about more than just a news story.
Right.
This is about the human cost of getting it wrong.
Mm.
To really unpack this, we've got a fascinating mix on the table.
Okay.
First, the cold, hard facts from the National Registry of Exonerations.
Yeah.
Then we get up close and personal with Buari himself in a Pop Prime TV interview.
Right.
And to round it out, a CNN article that digs into his life after prison.
Wow. Great.
Okay, let's rewind.
Okay.
1992.
The Bronx, New York City. Yeah. Think back to that era, the height of the drug war.
Oh, yeah.
Gang violence running rampant.
Yeah.
What kind of pressure do you think that put on law enforcement?
Oh, man. Imagine the intensity of that time. The war on drugs in full swing.
Yeah.
There's this immense pressure on law enforcement to make arrests,
Yeah.
close cases, and show results.
Right.
Often at the expense of thorough investigations.
Right.
It was a breeding ground for mistakes,
Yeah.
for cutting corners, and unfortunately, for wrongful convictions.
Now, right in the middle of this pressure cooker, you've got Calvin Buari. He was a young entrepreneur, but also a drug dealer, known for dressing the part. It's a bit of a contradiction, isn't it?
It is. And it's crucial to recognize that while Buari was involved in illegal activities,
Right.
this lifestyle, sadly, made him an easy target. How so?
The way he was perceived, the assumptions made about him because of his involvement in the drug trade,
Yeah.
it all played a role in how his case was handled.
Okay, so let's talk about the crime itself. Two brothers, Elijah and Salhaddin Harris, were shot and killed in their car.
Right.
The thing is, there was absolutely no physical evidence linking Buari to the scene.
And that's where things take a really interesting turn.
Okay.
Without that physical evidence, the prosecution's case relied heavily on eyewitness testimony,
Yeah.
primarily from other drug dealers,
Right.
rivals of Buari's,
Right.
who had their own reasons for wanting him out of the picture. Think about the dynamics at play here.
Hmm.
You've got rival drug dealers potentially with their own grudges, their own motives,
Right.
stepping up as witnesses.
Yeah.
Were they motivated by a shot at revenge?
Right.
Or maybe a promise of leniency in their own cases?
Yeah.
These are the questions that should have been heavily scrutinized.
And to complicate things even further, we're talking about 1992. DNA evidence wasn't even close to the science it is today.
Right.
It was practically the dark ages of forensics.
You're right. It was a different world back then. Imagine trying to prove your innocence without the forensic tools we just take for granted now.
I know.
Back in 92, DNA technology was in its infancy,
Right.
leaving people like Buari with very, very limited options to fight back against unreliable evidence.
It's almost like being stuck in a nightmare, you know? The evidence is flimsy at best. But the system is stacked against you. And to add insult to injury, they offered Buari a plea deal.
Yeah.
A measly 3 years if he confessed.
3 years in exchange for admitting to a double homicide. He insisted he didn't commit.
Right.
That says a lot about his mindset at the time. He was determined to maintain his innocence, even when faced with a system seemingly designed to break him.
Talk about a high-stakes gamble.
Yeah.
So what happens? Well, Buari refuses the deal.
Wow.
He's convicted
Right.
and gets handed a sentence of 50 years to life.
Oh, my gosh.
Let that sink in for a moment. 50 years.
Yeah.
He was only 24 at the time.
This is a classic case of justice delayed, and it raises some profound questions. Is any amount of money, any official apology, enough to make up for even a single year of lost freedom, let alone decades?
Right.
It makes you question the very fabric of justice, doesn't it?
It really does. But, you know, here's where Buari's story takes an unexpected turn. Behind bars, in the most unlikely of places, he undergoes an incredible transformation.
It's a testament to the human capacity for resilience, isn't it? He starts out disillusioned,
Yeah.
angry, completely understandable given the circumstances.
Yeah.
But then there's this shift.
Okay.
He earns his GED online, starts studying law,
Wow.
using whatever limited resources he could get his hands on.
Wow.
He essentially willed himself into a position to fight back.
Talk about making the best of an unthinkable situation.
Yeah.
It's inspiring in a way.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But it's also a stark reminder that his case isn't an isolated incident. The National Registry of Exonerations has documented countless cases just like Buari's. In 2017 alone, 139 people were exonerated, including 51 for homicide.
Wow. 51 people cleared of murder charges in a single year.
Yeah.
That's a staggering number. It makes you wonder how many innocent people are still out there trapped in a system that failed them.
And we can't talk about wrongful convictions without addressing the elephant in the room.
Right.
The deeply rooted racial disparities within the justice system. The National Registry of Exonerations found that Black Americans are disproportionately affected by this very issue.
Right.
In 2022, they represented 61% of exonerations.
So we have Buari dedicating himself to self-education, fighting for his freedom tooth and nail. And just when you think his story can't get any more unbelievable, there's another twist. Another inmate comes forward and confesses to the murders. Talk about a beacon of hope, right?
Yeah.
But here's the catch. That confession, it's later recanted. It throws the whole case into even deeper turmoil and really highlights how messy things can get with witness testimonies.
It's a stark reminder that the road to justice is rarely straightforward.
Right.
It's often riddled with these twists and turns, with moments of hope followed by crushing setbacks.
Yeah.
And through it all, you have individuals like Buari clinging to that belief that the truth will ultimately prevail.
It's easy to lose hope when you're up against a system as complex and often as unforgiving as the justice system.
Yeah.
Thankfully for Buari, he found some allies in his corner.
Enter Myron Beldock and Oscar Michelin, two attorneys who would prove to be instrumental in Buari's fight for exoneration.
Right.
Sadly, Beldock passed away before seeing the case through to its conclusion.
What a blow, especially after coming so far. But Michelin continued the fight, right?
He did. He picked up the torch and continued to push for Buari's release.
Yeah.
And their combined efforts were nothing short of extraordinary. They uncovered new evidence, including testimonies from 3 new witnesses who came forward in 2017.
Talk about a game changer. These new witnesses must have provided some crucial missing pieces of the puzzle.
Exactly. These weren't just any witnesses.
Right.
Their testimonies directly challenged the prosecution's narrative from all those years ago.
Yeah.
And finally, after more than 2 decades of legal battles,
Yeah.
a judge recognized the weight of this new evidence.
Right.
In May 2017, Calvin Buari walked out of prison, a free man.
Free at last. Can you even imagine that feeling after 22 years? But then what?
Right.
How do you even begin to piece your life back together after such an ordeal?
That's the question, isn't it?
Yeah.
In Buari's case, it was a combination of seeking justice for the time stolen from him,
Right.
and rebuilding a life that had been put on hold.
Right.
He dove headfirst into entrepreneurship, starting his own van service, then expanding into real estate.
Wow.
It's remarkable how he channeled his experiences into creating something positive.
Talk about making up for lost time.
Yeah.
And he didn't stop there. He received significant settlements from both New York City and New York State.
Wow.
$4 million from the city,
Okay.
and another $3.75 million from the state. That's a powerful statement, even if no amount of money can truly compensate for what he endured.
It begs the question, what is the price of freedom?
Right.
Can you really put a dollar amount on decades stolen from someone's life?
Yeah.
Buari's story, like so many others, forces us to confront the limitations of our justice system, the very concept of justice delayed.
It's a stark reminder that even when the system seems to correct itself, the scars of wrongful conviction run deep.
Absolutely. And beyond the financial implications, there's the immeasurable emotional and psychological toll.
Right.
The trauma,
Yeah.
the lost relationships,
Right.
the missed opportunities.
Right.
Those are wounds that may never fully heal.
Yeah.
Yet despite everything, Buari has spoken about his desire for redemption.
Wow.
His belief that in a strange twist of fate, prison saved his life.
That's a powerful perspective. To find even a glimmer of positivity in the face of such adversity, it speaks volumes about his character.
It really does, but
Yeah.
let's be clear, his resilience doesn't diminish the injustice he suffered.
Right.
If anything, it amplifies the urgent need for change.
Right.
Buari's story serves as a potent reminder that wrongful convictions are not just abstract legal cases.
Right.
They represent real lives shattered,
Right.
families torn apart,
Right.
and a collective responsibility to do better.
So where do we go from here? We've delved into the heart of a broken system,
Yeah.
witnessed the strength of the human spirit, and grappled with the complexities of justice.
Right.
What have we learned from Calvin Buari's story? What can we as individuals do to prevent these miscarriages of justice from happening again and again?
That's the question we should all be asking ourselves.
Yeah.
It's about demanding more from our justice system.
Right.
Pushing for reforms.
Yeah.
Supporting organizations fighting for the wrongly convicted.
Right.
And never, ever forgetting the human cost of getting it wrong.
That's it for this deep dive. Make sure to check out the show notes for more information on everything we talked about today, and join us next time for another deep dive into a topic that matters.